As far as American military aircraft go, the F-117 Nighthawk has to be one of the most impressive and advanced ever created. The F-117 was of course designed to be invulnerable to enemy radar and missiles. It served with the United States Air Force from 1983 to 2008, although as we all know, some are still flying to this day as aggressors and for training purposes. But there is a case to make an argument that the US Air Force should not have retired the F-117 at all. With the money poured into the project and with no like-for-like replacement, the F-117 could still serve a purpose to this day. Clearly, there are no issues around the airworthiness of the aircraft. Perhaps retiring the F-117 was the Air Force's biggest mistake. The US Air Force spent millions on the F-117. As the world's first true stealth aircraft, the United States poured a huge amount of money into developing the F-117. The F-117 came from the Have Blue aircraft and would go on to have a radar cross-section of 0.001 meters squared, a minute number, one that is still impressive today despite the development of the F-22 and F-35. Lockheed's secretive Skunkworks division worked hard to ensure the shape of the F-117 was as stealthy as possible. Its aluminum construction was also complemented by titanium for areas of the engine and exhaust systems. A radar-absorbent material coats the outer surface of the F-117, and as you might expect, this did not come cheap. Estimates say that the unit cost for the F-117 came to $42.6 million per aircraft. With 64 F-117s built in total, including the YF-117 prototypes, it's easy to work out how much money this would have cost the Air Force in total. Given that the Nighthawk didn't even manage 30 years of service, the Air Force perhaps retired the F-117 prematurely, especially when you consider how successful it had been during its various combat operations. The Nighthawk proved itself in multiple combat operations. For a modern combat aircraft, the F-117 has had quite the remarkable service career. The most famous operations for the F-117 came during the 1991 Gulf War, attacking targets in Iraq, much to the shock and bewilderment of Iraqi forces. The F-117 was the only aircraft that the Air Force had dared to risk over downtown Baghdad. The F-117 would serve throughout the Gulf War, but also during the 1999 conflict in Yugoslavia during Operation Allied Force. This would see the shooting down of the only F-117 lost to enemy action. The Air Force is still flying the F-117 despite its retirement. Incredibly, despite its official retirement from US Air Force service, the F-117 is still flying. The Air Force refused to acknowledge this fact until relatively recently. The aircraft are now knowingly used as aggressors and for various training missions. There is the potential that the F-117 may still be flying by 2034 in some capacity. So clearly there is plenty of life in the airframes yet, and with around 45 rumored to be serviceable, the Air Force is able to maintain a good fleet despite their operating costs.